You're listening to the Creative Capital Podcast. You're dying to learn about how you can create wealth through real estate investing? Then you've come to the right place. Join in every week as we go over the ins and outs of real estate investing and learn how you too can become financially free. What's going on, everybody? This is Josh Ferrari, host of the Creative Capital Podcast. And I just finished an amazing interview with Ekaterina Stepanova. I believe is how you say her name. I hope I didn't butcher it. She's Russian, and she immigrated over to the United States about 14, 15 years ago. She started in marketing way back when, and she's been crushing it in mobile home parks for the last couple of years now, building up her team, her portfolio, her partnerships, building up her investor database. She's just been doing an amazing job at doing that. And then not only is she already not privy to the American, originally the English language when she first moved over here, but also she didn't know anyone. She had to start from scratch. So she had all these obstacles and she overcame all of them. And then to top it all off, she invests out of state. You know, it's already difficult to buying mobile home parks in general because of all the different factors that there are to enter into that industry. And she just plowed through all of that and is buying properties out of state. She said she has some in Alabama, Florida, Michigan, Ohio, all these different states. And her partners aren't even local. You know, she lives in New York. One of her partners lives in Atlanta, and the other one lives in California. So all these connections that she's making organically have allowed her to grow and be where she is today. And so today we discuss heavily what it takes really to manage these out-of-state investments. You know, managing any investment already is a task and a job, and you need to have the skill set and the know-how to make sure that it's running as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. But now you got to do it out of state. You know, now you've got new factors of not being able to actually be there and visit the property. And so you're having to rely more heavily on people that are there, like the property managers and the contractors. And she had a very interesting tip in there on what she does when it comes to the actual asset management side as far as contractors go, actually in the interview. So you guys definitely should listen in for that. That was really great. And her entire perspective of why she invests in real estate and kind of what her goals are, it kind of shifted the way that I'm thinking about maybe what some of our audacious goals are this year. And so that's definitely something you will listen to. That's closer to the end. So you have to listen all the way through now just to hear that. And so all in all to say, this episode was really great. I was pleasantly blown away with all the different value that she had to add, the different inputs. And I really like just listening to other people's perspectives on real estate investing and meeting people and life in general, relationships, connections, all those different kind of things, because I learn something new every time. I hope you guys are learning something new every time. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the show. Hey, what's going on, Ekaterina? It's so good to have you out on the show.
Hey, Joshua. Well, very nice chatting with you this Friday, chilly afternoon in New York.
Yeah, not chilly at all here in Mobile. I think we're in the 60s today. I honestly have the AC on in the, the house. Oh, it's kind of hot. But anyhow, today we are talking about how to properly manage these out-of-state investments. So for the listeners out there that don't really know who you are and what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in investing in real estate.
Sure. Well, my background is in marketing advertising, and that set of skills I brought with me to mobile home park investing. And I started 3.5 years ago, and I started with marketing and sourcing deals directly from park owners because I thought that would be my entry point, which it was. And since then, I partnered up, and I have two partners at this time, with someone who already had experience in the mobile home park space and with someone who just had a very extensive commercial real estate experience. So I have two partners, and together we operate, and we turn around mobile home parks pretty much across United States and all different states, some in Alabama, Florida, Michigan. We're closing on the park in Ohio now and looking to close on the one in Texas next month. So we are all over.
Yeah, yeah. So coming from marketing, why real estate? Why mobile home parks specifically?
Yes, well, real estate, because of the cash flow, that was always in need of time, wanting flexibility, loving. I think most of the people maybe who come to real estate, if it's not generational, they may just really love this idea of having your own time, flexibility, just a free spirit, so to speak. And so I thought, okay, real estate, cash flowing properties would be a great entry point. So I started, as many people, in single family investing, and I invested out of state in a turnkey in Memphis, which didn't go so great. So that that is why I turned to commercial, and then I was thinking multifamily. Kind of barrier of entry is rather high, so much competition. Going to brokers, they won't take me seriously, and they didn't, and rightfully so, because I knew nothing about nothing, and just like anyone else, you have to work your way through the ranks and earn your, to be noticed and acknowledged and to be even considered. So I thought, you know what, I should be looking for another angle. And I heard about mobile home parks. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should try there. Price point is lower, still largely owned by mom and pop owners. So maybe I can use my marketing, advertising background. Maybe I'll just be able to connect with them better, which actually I think worked out that way. And I just finally, it wasn't all straightforward. It wasn't within a few months. It took some time, but eventually I picked that niche and I just decided to commit to that. And it probably took us over a year to close on our first park.
So you mentioned us. Who's us? Like, how did you find your partners?
Right. So no one is an island in this business. So you have to really collaborate. If you want to get further faster, it's always a really good idea to collaborate. You learn from your partners. You learn from your people who surround you. So as I started, I had a mentor in the industry that was Charles D. Hart. He was with the Sunrise Group and former Kevin Bob's partner. They had Academy at that time, and so I was part of it. And Charles really spent time because I was really trying to distinguish myself and do all the right things, all the take all the right steps towards my first park. So he did spend some time, and then he introduced me to someone else he knew, so Matt Battinger. So he said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm doing what you're doing. So why don't we do it together?" So Matt already had experience. So he had some parks. I think he had 3 or 4 parks by then. So I thought, wow, that's excellent. If I could put in my skill set to marketing and bring him deals, he would know what to do with them. So that would be a great starting point. And then we met Nick Villanueva. He's out of California. So just geographically, I'm in New York. My partner Matt is in Atlanta, and our partner Nick is in California. So we are all over the place. So is our parks. So nothing strange there. It's very consistently that way. And Nick brought in his expertise in just business. He's very business savvy, and liquidity doesn't hurt either. So, and that's how we just decided to do things together and purchase our first park and then second one and so on.
That's so great. So you found these people just kind of organically through already connections that you had, knowing that real estate is a highly, networked, relationship-based business. And they had already done deals, and you were just like, they live like nowhere near me. So, I mean, but we could still make it work, because then you also
Yeah.
have the benefit of them in that market, like being your boots on the ground. So now you have opportunities for all these other markets. I think it's really cool how you kind of put all that together. And now you have this triage of a partnership where everyone has their individual thing that they do. So what is it in your partnership that you handle the most?
Well, that's probably asset management overall, just making sure whatever we plan it gets done. And we normally purchase value add turnaround properties where we would handle multitude of projects. So we just divide them and we conquer. We divide them based on our experience. And Matt, for example, he had more experience than any one of us in infill projects, sourcing homes and dealing with different financing projects, so programs. So he would handle that normally. Then Nick and myself, we will divide other tasks, like, for example, rehab units, rehab and lease up, and then maybe submittering, electrical. We did electrical submittering, water submittering, maybe other projects in the park, just overall improvements, maybe road work, maybe parking spaces assignments and things like that. So we'll just divide them. And I think pretty much anytime we go into project, we obviously will put a business plan, turnaround plan together. So it's just really a matter of knowing what you need to do and when, and what are the deliverables are, and what is at stake. So everybody is united by by the same goal. And we do plan quite conservatively, just in case, because that's, I think we all are pretty conservative. I think this is why we probably work well together. You have to have partners who see things, certain things, same as you, and risk tolerance has to be really attuned in the group. So we don't
Right.
have anyone who just charges forward without thinking of consequences. So I think that works.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Not to say that I'm charging forward without thinking about the risk, but
No.
I definitely consider myself and our partnership, me and Matt and Reggie, to be the more optimistic one. Like fairly conservative to a point, but it's like, all right, I mean, we just got to jump at this thing. Like the opportunity's here. And then Reggie is more of like he's the way he explains it is he can see both ways. He explains it better than me, but he doesn't see himself as an optimist or a pessimist. And then Matt hates to be called a pessimist, so we call him a realist. So super cool. But okay, so backing up a little bit from where you were in marketing, getting into real estate to now where you are today, kind of what does your portfolio look like?
Well, our portfolio is, as I mentioned, it's a value add properties. They will range, the smallest one we have, and relisting it again, and we want to sell it. The one in Florida, that is 38 spaces. And the largest, I think, at this point is the 94 space property. So they all range probably between 70 to 100 spaces. And, we're very much looking forward to purchasing our largest park yet of 200 spaces next month. So, yeah, we're very excited of making a next threshold.
Yeah, definitely. Always pushing through those ceilings, Let's keep
That's right.
going. Love it.
Exactly.
Okay, so you handle all of the project slash asset management on these deals, and you're out of state. I mean, do you guys have any parks in New York? Is that a thing? I didn't think so. So how do you go about doing asset management, which I would think would need to be boots on the ground? How do you do that being out of state?
Again, you have to divide and conquer. So you definitely plan ahead and see what kind of resources you have, what projects need to be done, and who's going to do them, like what people needs to be put in place, what they're going to be responsible for. And I would say, Josh, this is a really good point. We really haven't done a deal if we either didn't have the right people in place or knew who may be able to help us with those very specific projects. So it's really people, human resource specific deals, right? So for example, the latest acquisition in Michigan, we had the right partner who would be able to help us with turning around units. So we were able to turn 33 units in a year. So this was a very specific person who helped us do that. Without having him, I doubt we would have made the plans for this property as we did. For example, project in Florida, we just, as I was just mentioning, that 38 unit, if we didn't have a specific manager who we knew works in that area, whose specialty is, so that was a very specific set of skills, so to speak, and we had a very specific plan for that property. If not for that person and his team, we would not bought that park. So it's really you have to have the right people in place. So we plan based on who we have to work with.
I love that. So your kind of criteria for entering into a new market is okay, we're going to need to know someone here that has the set of skills to execute our business plan.
Absolutely.
And so is this like another GP that you guys are trying to bring on, or is this just you're trying to find like top tiered property managers in these markets?
These were neither one of them was a GP. These were people who we hired for those specific projects. So it was specific compensation structure and whatnot, but we were able to know that they can execute and we were able to account for it and it worked in our business plan. So it's kind of, you have to just really look at the deals and see if you have the right people in place. So I guess
Yeah.
it's very not straightforward. You would think, oh, this is our model and we just, yeah, you cannot really execute on this model anywhere, across the United States. You have to just really think, what is it that you do? Who do you have to work with?
And so then how are you like vetting these people? Like they have to have a certain set of skills. You just get on a Zoom call and they're
No,
having
we
a
knew
conversation with you?
them. There's a pre-existing relationship.
Okay.
So these were people who knew people and we knew them. So it's either by reputation or we had worked with them previously. So
Okay.
for example, one of my partners, he worked with a certain team on a previous park and they did good job. So we thought, okay, so we can probably use them again. So that was another contact, good referral. So we thought, okay, let us vet that person, and then we felt comfortable that we can proceed. But again, you have to always have a contingency plan, which
Right.
we counted for just in case everything goes, haywire. So one of us will have to step in. How we're going to execute that? So that is why the business plan has to veer on a more conservative side at all times.
And so if it came to like worst case scenario, one of you guys just have to like fly out there and be more hands on?
We would have to, yeah, probably at some point, one of us would have to fly out and find the crew or set some processes in place. Yeah, find someone who will be stepping in. So definitely would be much more involved than we
Right.
planned to essentially initially.
Right. So this is a great segue into the next question of
Set myself
actual
up.
yeah, of actually managing the contractors. So are you guys basically having the property managers handle all of that? And I feel like things are probably a little different because I know with multifamily, we don't have anything tenant owned. So we're doing all of the renovations and everything. You guys might just have a few homes and maybe the renovations aren't that extensive, but you've still got
Mhm.
land and septic systems and
Oh
other
yeah.
stuff that you would have to fix. So how are you guys managing contractors when you live hundreds of miles away? What does that look like? What's the
Yeah.
secret?
The secret. The secret, you just have to be on them like a hawk. That's the secret. So you have to have park manager or park attendant, whoever you have in the park. Plus you have to, I would normally just do day to day. So day to day issues, maintenance issues will be pretty much my responsibility. So we would have eyes and ears. It's usually normally park manager in the park, but then we would have maintenance person. So it's good to have another point of view. If something, hey, do you mind just letting us know if you go around the park and there is something amiss? Please kind of let me know. It's another set of eyes again. But otherwise it will be normally park manager who will oversee and kind of report back, and I will be, I guess, briefing the team what needs to be done. And then there are pictures throughout the work process. What is being done? Is it timely? How are the residents' satisfaction? Are they happy? Is this working? Was it not working? And so, yeah, you just have to be really on it and you have to own it because no one is going to take care of it like you would. So, yeah, you have to
So
just, yeah.
do you guys actually go and visit the property at all throughout this process, or you try to stay more hands off just because you're so far away?
No, we would normally go and visit. Absolutely. Just this year was really threw everything off. But otherwise, we would definitely go and visit at least twice a year. This property in Michigan that we purchased exactly a year ago, we were not able to visit it throughout this year. And we have done rehabbed and infilled 33 units in the park. We've done electrical submittering in the park. We've upgraded 74 electrical panels in the park. We've installed 74 water meters in the park. We've done roads, we've done parking. And with all that, we have not been able to go to the park all this year.
Man.
However, well, I have a drive-through videos every week from our park manager. And so we see everything that's happening. And we had the pictures throughout, we had the FaceTime, we had, it just multiple points of, I don't want to say control, but you kind of, yeah, you have to
Yeah.
just be able to see it from different angles to make sure projects are getting done.
Right, to be able to properly manage that. And you're handling all of that. I mean, this is you like talking to the property managers and everything, right?
Well, you see, these were different projects. This is not just day to day. So these projects, this was a huge, huge, big project. So as I said at the beginning, we would normally, within our team, we'll break them down. So who is going to take care of what? So let's say Nick is leading electrical submetering. We had another partner. He was leading water submetering. Matt was leading, infill project. So we just divided them up, and each one of us was taking care of pretty much leading. I'm not saying doing it by ourselves. We were just
Right.
taking a lead on, and then each project had its timeline. So we're just kind of trying to stick to that.
Yeah, love it. Divide and conquer.
Absolutely, that's the name of
So,
the game.
yeah. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to circle back on the whole idea of building partnerships. Because I know me specifically coming into 2021 here, my goal is to get 1,000 units. We currently have like 80 or 90. So we've got a ways to go. And we realize that we're probably going to have to start branching out into some other markets in order to find better deals. Even if there's 1,000 units of availability here in Mobile, I don't think we would want to buy 1,000 units here just for like diversification purposes. One hurricane could wipe out all of our portfolio. So we want to have a little bit of geographical diversification there. So anyhow, we are struggling in potentially finding like good GPs or a good team. Like you said, you have to have a team out of state. We're struggling to find people like that to trust in a market that we like. So how are you building these partnerships with these out-of-state teams? Are you like flying in to meet these people? Like, does it need to be a one-on-one to really be able to solidify the relationship? Are you just like Zoom calling? Are these just chats? Like, what does that look like?
Well, Josh, I will say you have to sow those seeds early before you
Yeah,
need them.
right.
So this is what you do right now. This is what I do with my MHP Tribe community. So I meet their people every single week. I'm the organizer of the MHP Tribe community, specifically for mobile home park investors or investors to be. So everyone is welcome. They can come, they can learn. But also, this is an opportunity for me to talk about what I do, what our team does, and how we do things. So this can attract people, right? Then ask, okay, so well, I live in that market. I can be boots on the ground. I can do this and that. So this is how you just get to know people, and opportunities will present themselves in that market or the other. And people, then who know people who know people. So you
Right.
can definitely find people, and you have references. You can really build it out.
Man, Katerina, I was waiting for that secret sauce. You're just
Mhm.
telling me that it's relationship based?
You see, this is, Josh, I call it, and I read it a long time ago. I don't quite remember where. This is farming, not hunting. So you have to like
Yeah.
farm it in the soil so we'll never run out of food. You don't have to go hunt. So you just kind of really grow what you have and really take care of that. So, and then it will just spruce out into wider area.
I like that analogy. I never heard that one. Okay, awesome. So, in your particular experience, should more people invest out of state? What are the pros and cons to that?
That really depends what feels right. I cannot say whether it's right or wrong. You have to really answer that question. If that feels right for you, that feels like something that you feel like you can do, you should give it a shot. I'm a big supporter of no regrets. If you feel like you want to do it, just do it. Just do it already. Don't overthink it, just do it. I mean, what's the worst case? You're going to live probably still after. So just go ahead and do it. And then the worst case, you will learn your lesson. Next time you will do better, but don't get frozen by analysis. Just try it. If you see if you can find something within your immediate area, if you feel like nothing really fits your criteria, don't bend your criteria. Go out and figure it out. Go out of state and figure it out. There are people same like yourself out there in other states. And I know it may seem like we can all just do it all the time, but there is a huge benefit in partnerships, and at least in having one partner. I really enjoy working with partners, and I always like the idea and an opportunity of working with some new people, so as my partners, because we feel like everyone brings something that we
Yeah.
can learn from. Not doesn't take something out. Oh, we have to cut it into more pieces. No, I feel
Right.
like there is definitely, it's a bonus, because if someone, we have a new partner on this specific deal, now we know kind of by osmosis, now we have access to even larger market where this person is from, and the people he or she knows, maybe they even some investors or deals. So next time, if we do great by this person right here, again, this is farming, not hunting, right? So you will just never run out of deals. Whatever this person has, deals, investors, you will have them if you treat this person right. So
Yeah, I love that. Definitely, especially the partnership aspect of it, working with people, creating those win-win scenarios has always been something that I've thought is just cool. Like the fact that multiple people can win all at the same time and nobody's in a losing situation. Like you buy a property, the seller wins because they're getting rid of the property.
mhm,
You win, you're getting to buy it. Your partners win because you're all providing value to each other and you're actually getting to the closing table as far as meeting liquidity requirements and everything else you had mentioned previously.
mhm.
And then if you got investors, they win because they get a piece of it and they don't have to do anything. It's like, how is this a thing? How does everyone win? Like, it's so great, so amazing. So before we jump into the next question, this is kind of like a one-off that I'm just like curious about because
Sure.
you mentioned it during what you were just talking about. You said he or she, and it made me think, being a woman, have you found a lot of other women that are in like the industry that you're in? Like, is it difficult to find other women, or have you found it difficult to be in this space with so many men?
Me personally, I don't find it difficult. I no, I just take it as it is. I have never really considered that. I think it's a maybe an advantage. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I'm definitely trying to get more ladies involved in the community. I'm noticing many women would probably think of themselves maybe a little less than they truly are. I think maybe they're not bringing enough value to the table, but it's just really not the reality. So I'm trying to encourage more ladies to come to the tribe, mobile home tribe calls, and participate and share. And I hope they will. I'm encouraging that, and
Yeah.
so definitely supporting that.
Yeah, I think you're like the third or fourth woman I've met that's like heavily into the syndication space, I should say. Not real estate. There's plenty of, realtors and stuff like that are women. But like my wife, she's like, I just don't get what you do. I'd rather just like help you, like be your assistant or something, or be your like social media manager. I'm like, cool, then do that. But anyhow, okay, moving on to the next question before we kind of segue into the next segment. Where are you headed in the future? I mean, do you guys have any like massive goals in 2021?
This is an interesting topic. So tell me if you experience anything different. But every time I meet people who maybe I haven't seen in a little while, I say, "Oh, so what are you up to? Buying hundreds of units every day?" So what are you up to 1,000 units now? Everybody's asking, if we've purchased some units, a certain number of units in the past year or something. And that kind of brings me pause, because some time ago I heard one of my mentors in the industry, without maybe him knowing, Mike Conlon, he said, I don't want to be, and he's big, he's really big in the business. So he owns like dozens of thousands of units or something. He says, I don't have a goal of being the biggest. I just want to be the most profitable. So I think this is our goal as well. We are extremely, because my partners and myself, we are still not full time in the business. So we're extremely picky about the type of deals that we do. We would normally want to have certain return goals, and we would aim to increase or double the value of the property that we're working on. within 3 to 5 years. And this is, again, being on a conservative, we would aim to actually do it much sooner than that. So we would really want to put ourselves in this position of success. So we buy slow. And our goal would be, instead of buying, let's say, two great deals a year, you know, because I'm not saying we're not going to buy more, but at least there are different type of deals. One are for cash flow, and other ones for maybe a different type of scenario. You just do maybe asset management. Maybe you'll syndicate that, so it's mostly asset management. Maybe another structure where you, let's say, managing the deal, turning it around, and then you refinance your, let's say, partners out, and then you own the deal. So there are different sets of deals that are possible, but we definitely want to aim for two awesome deals a year. So this is our big audacious goal. So I'm not saying size, but it has to be just something really, really exciting. So
like a slamming deal, like 200 units
you see, this is not in a number of units necessarily, but it has to be, let's say, I'll give an example. So the deal in Michigan that we purchased last year, so we were able, with all the projects that we did, we were able to double the value of the property in just 1 year. So this is the type of deals that we are looking for. But instead of one, we want to have two this coming year. And this requires a lot of prospecting, a ton of work. So when I'm saying two, it might not sound like a lot, but in order to find two great deals, you have to reject hundreds of OK deals, hundreds of OK deals. And in order for you to eyeball those hundreds of deals, you have to do a ton of prospecting. And this is just from knowing how marketing and prospecting works. This is a lot of work.
Definitely. I love that. I love that your goal is more oriented on a specific focus that you have, kind of the vision for where you want your business, your company, and your life to go. Like you said, it is a lot of work to do all of the underwriting on these OK deals, but it's also more work to just close a bunch of deals and now have to be managing all these deals that maybe aren't profiting as much as you would like them to. So you're really not getting anywhere. So
Right.
I love that you've kind of niched and focused in on that. Well, all right. We are now going to segue into the next segment of the show called the Pod Decks segment. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Pod Decks, but it's this little company that makes decks of cards. They probably got like hundreds of different decks of cards at this point. Right. But they just have questions on the back. So this is going to be like, pick a card, any card. You're going to tell me when to stop. We're going to pick two, and then I'm just going to ask you whatever questions on the card.
All right.
Tell me when to stop.
Well, stop.
Okay, first question. Have you ever had anything stolen? And if so, what was it?
I remember when I was a kid, I was caught completely red-handed. I don't know why. I was just really attracted to all the blingy stuff. And we were, I think, at my godmom's party or something like that. And I thought of nothing better than when I saw, I think I wandered in, that was her bedroom or something. She had all the jewelry laying around. I thought, wow, this looks so beautiful. And so I put it in my little baby stocking. I was like walking around the party with the little golden chain dragging behind me. That was pretty hilarious. But I thought, you know what? How did I even know to do that? And I was probably like 3 or 4. So I since then I have this very weird feeling, like, how did I even figure to hide this in a little baby, white stocking, like to drag around this little golden chain behind me across the floor. So that was pretty funny, but completely malicious intent of taking this little fine piece of jewelry somewhere. I don't know what I was planning on doing with it, but yeah, that happened.
Oh man, what a story. Now it's out there, everyone knows.
It's out there, everyone knows. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I was planning, what I was thinking. I have no idea.
Oh man. All right, next question.
Didn't expect that, huh?
I did not expect that. I did not expect that answer. But you didn't expect the question either. So
I didn't expect that. Yeah.
What is your most unusual talent?
I think I'm pretty adaptive. Yeah, I think I'm pretty adaptive like that. And challenge usually excites me a lot. I'm very excited about new situations, something, if it changes drastically, I'm thinking immediately. And this is truly my gut reaction. I'm thinking, oh, this must be something good about it. There must be some opportunity there. Something good is probably going to happen out of that. And I'll just give an example. When I immigrated here 14 years ago, well, my former husband, he just graduated from conservatory. So we came here. I had $130 that I brought with me. That's all we had. And we lived in a little studio. There was just a mattress. So it was like real basic. And we really did not know. When I'm saying really did not know, we really did not know anyone here. So he came here. He had a coach he was an opera singer. So he had a coach who taught him singing. So that was the only person we knew in United States of America. But that opportunity, even being here without money and figuring out what to do for work, for food, for whatever, that was not scary. That was really exciting. I thought that there's something great could happen. We could really have some great opportunities. And the same things happened to me numerous times, obviously, throughout life. When something changes drastically and you do not expect that, I always kind of tend to think there's something good that's going to happen. So it's for me. Something is happening for me. So I think maybe being adaptive in that regard.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get such a powerful story out of an unusual talent question, but I love it. That's great. So where did you immigrate from? Where are you from?
I'm from Moscow, Russia. Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
Man. And so you came over here because he had an opportunity as an opera singer?
Yes, opportunity, it was more of a dream. So
Okay.
he had a dream that he was an opera singer. So he just graduated from Moscow Conservatory and he thought, you know what? I may have, for whatever reason, he thought he may have a better chance of singing in New York rather than in Moscow. So I said, you know what? Heck with it, let's do it. So we came here and just started from exactly where we started, from the studio in Astoria, Queens. So from a room, I'm sorry, studio was an upgrade later.
Wow. That's a powerful story. And I'd love to unpack it, but I think we're going to go ahead and
Sure,
jump
sure.
into the last segment of the show called the Core Four, which is the same four questions we ask every guest. First question: what is your favorite real estate related book?
Well, if it's a real estate related, I will probably have to go with Jim Clayton's First a Dream. Jim Clayton, he's one of the biggest figures, I think, in mobile home park investing. Clayton Homes, those in the industry, they would know his name. So I really like his personal story in that book. It teaches a lot of wisdom. And I always tend to like personal story. I always take most out of them rather than if it's just theoretical knowledge.
I have actually never heard of that book. I must be really out of touch with the mobile home park space if he's a really big player. I've
Well,
never read that
he
one.
was he sold his portfolio to Warren Buffett.
Okay. Well, definitely have to check that out. Okay. Next question, which you kind of already answered.
Mm,
What do you think your unique skill is that helped you become successful?
just never give up. Yeah, and I think Joshua, we were talking about this. You just have to do it. Keep on taking the next step, and if you don't feel like it, if it doesn't work out, you don't lose until you give up. So you just have to. It doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to be super ambitious. You just have to take the next step, whatever it is, even if it's
Right.
small. Just take the next step. Yeah,
And most of the time, the next step is like minuscule. Like, okay, I want to get into real
exactly.
estate. What do I need to do? I don't know anything about real estate. Maybe I'll learn something about real estate. So go spend 5, $10 and like pick up a book. And then after that, the steps are so minuscule, but people get so caught in the minutia of like, oh my gosh, this big, hairy, audacious goal of buying like a portfolio of homes or
Yeah.
buying a mobile home park. Like, how would you do that? One
Hmm.
step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually something that you really don't want to do. So this may be, for example, I really don't want to go to that meetup and talk to people. I completely don't feel like doing that. Shows you that that's exactly what you should be doing.
Okay, next question. Tell me something that's true about real estate that almost nobody agrees with you on.
Well, again, I think this is something that we touched on, and I will just reiterate that. I think people don't realize how you can actually be quote unquote broke with the hundreds of units, and how you can be financially free with the much fewer units. You can be financially free with one park and broke with the several parks. So this is really not about number of units. This is how profitable you run your business. So just also think about it from that perspective. Would you rather manage hundreds and make the same amount of money if you could do that, let's say with 50 or just 100, right? So I think people are putting value on the wrong thing.
Yeah, love that. Eye-opening. Have to rethink my strategy now. What what one piece of advice would you give to our listeners wanting to succeed in real estate investing?
I think partnerships, yeah, relationships, partnerships are the key to success. As they say, what people at the kind of end of their life would they value most, or they would reflect and value most, is relationships. So, well, guess what? Business is a big part of your life. If making a business out of this, right, out of real estate, chances are you're going to be spending quite a number of hours, quite a bit of time doing real estate, being in that business. So you might as well enjoy people who you're dealing with, and chances are you're going to spend a lot of time with those as well. So pick carefully and enjoy the process, because these are probably the people who you're going to be working with and dealing with for years to come. So I think relationships and business partnerships are really the key to
Yeah.
be not only successful but also fulfilling. So the process is really rewarding and feels good.
So many good things here. If everyone just wanted to re-listen to this episode a few times, I'm sure there's something new you could pull out of it every time. All right, Katerina, if anybody wants to learn more about you and your business, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, if there is something beyond jewelry and a stocking, then yeah, they can definitely find me and MHP Tribe. That's a group on Facebook. We have weekly community calls. We have monthly meetups, virtual meetups, and they can find me there. They can find me on LinkedIn, Ekaterina Stepanova. Yeah, just M2K Partners. We have a website, so you can connect there. However is most convenient time around. So I'm always happy to connect with new people, and if there is anything I can do to help, my privilege to help others. So
Yeah,
as
definitely.
I was a help myself.
Love that. All right. If anyone wants to learn more about mobile home park investing or potentially partner with Katerina, then you should reach out. Well, this has been fantastic. I appreciate you coming out on the show. I know I have learned some different, more of like the perspective of real estate investing has changed a little bit for me in this episode. And I appreciate that for you coming out and sharing your point of view and your knowledge in the space.
I really enjoyed your questions. I really enjoyed unusual questions and unexpected. I think it's fun. It helps definitely to connect on a more personal level. And this is exactly how relationships are made. This is when you talk to someone and you just don't know what you're going to get. So this is when either you really like the person and then you think, oh my gosh, this is completely Looney Tunes. I'm not going to talk to them again. But either way, it's been, yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We will see you later.
Thank you.
Man, was that not a great show, guys? She was phenomenal. That piece at the end about her immigrating over from Russia to the United States, that was a really powerful story. And I really wish we had more time to really dive deeper into that and figure out the ins and outs of how she came to be from a United States or a Russian immigrant to now this, she got hundreds, maybe even thousands of units at this point of mobile home parks. And it's a really awesome story, really powerful story of how she did that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know I did. The show was freaking amazing. And so if you liked it, please give us a subscription, subscribe to the show, give us a rating and review on iTunes there. It really helps other people hear about all the different ways and facets and creative ways that there are to make money and to grow your wealth and just have more time to spend with what matters most, which to me is family. It's the one resource we don't ever get back. And I know that money can allow me to have more time. So that is my primary reason for investing in real estate. So subscribe, leave us a rating and review. And then if you're interested to learn more about Ferrari Capital, by all means, go on our website, ferraricapital.com. We've got a free ebook there you can look at. We've got blog posts you can look at. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter so you can figure out specific market economics of what's going on a month-to-month basis in our particular market, which is Mobile, Alabama. As well as we always have some type of educational information in there and updates on any new deals that we have going on at the time. So make sure you sign up for that. And in the podcast, we've got the podcast, or you can go to the partnership tab and sign up for our investor portal so you can get deal updates and other little goodies. So go check that out. And guys, that's all I got. So I'll see you next week. And this is Josh Ferrari signing off.